Hello, welcome back to Blender Spatial Live. In this episode, I'm just gonna be doing some 3D doodle. I'm using this app called Feather. This is the latest update to their app. So it's basically this app available on the website and as an app as well on the iPad. So in the latest version, they have this way to create lofting that you can use as reference. So I just want to show you so you can do something like this, and then send it to Blender or something. So I'm recording this from my iPad. Hopefully this is gonna work. So let's take a look. Let's make a quick one. So I'm still getting used to this, but it's kind of interesting, right? So with Feather, you basically start with by drawing some kind of reference surface. You can use like the old draw. So first of all, let's say you go to the top view, and I just make like a doodle like that. So I'm drawing a surface, and this surface become like a reference point that I can doodle on top of. So by default, we get this kind of stroke, but I like to work with this type of stroke, which is more like smooth, more like a marker. I think I like this one, and I can change the radius, etc. So this is how we do it in the past. In the latest version, we have this way to do lofting, which means if we actually select loft and then we doodle on multiple surfaces like that, we actually created some kind of surface reference. So let's cancel that. What's cool, however, if we, for example, make a selections like that, I'm making selection on that stroke and I'm moving it in 3D space. Now if I go back to the doodle pencil tools, I can select the lofting and it's gonna do the lofting for us, and it's creating a surface. Okay, so this surface can be used then to draw more on top of it. So far I'm just like drawing stroke, like if we are using Blender grease pencil. So this is kind of like a very interesting workflow that I wish Blender grease pencil have. If Blender actually works on the iPad, and then we are doing this in kind of like 2D 3D space, kind of like a hybrid space, this kind of workflow is pretty cool because we can then send this to Blender and do something more with it. Currently I'm just drawing strokes. Let's make something that's a little bit more interesting. Just a quick one. I think the easiest is to make like some kind of mask. Let's say if I go to the side view and I draw like this type of surface, like imagine like a mask, right? I'm drawing just a curve, and then I will use this this brush, and then I just gonna draw something like that, and probably, yeah, imagine this like a mask, like a frog mask, and we can also draw that. Yeah, so we draw the stroke. We can get rid of the reference by tapping that button at the bottom. So now I'll go to loft, and then I will loft all this surface. We get something that's bulging like a mask, almost. It's not really bulging. So cancel that. Create selection tool, select, and then I go to the side view and then just move it using this remote joystick thing. And do the same. I can actually scale, for example, and just make something scale in that direction. It takes time to get used to that. Yeah, I think this could be loft. So we have something that's more like a 3D. Now after we do this, hit tap done, and then we can start doodling face. We can use symmetry. Maybe it's some kind of like a frog mask. Eyebrow. So far, like I said, I'm only using like a stroke, but in reality, it's better if you think of this like you are actually drawing, like painting a surface. So it's better if we switch to this type of tool. And what I'll do, let's say this is like a frog. I will, oh, okay, that brush is too big. Let's undo that. Let's use this highlighter marker. Yeah, just gonna pick a color. So I'm like painting the skin of the frog. We can make the radius a little bit bigger. So think of it like a skin, like a surface that you paint. And you're able to do this because we are painting on the reference surface that we just lofted earlier. Okay. Yeah, maybe I just gonna use bright color like this. Yeah. It's a quick one, maybe even painted the eyeballs. Switch to another brush and switch to black color. Yeah, okay. Okay, you got the idea. If we are done with this, we just hit X. Okay, we're gonna go back to like a flat surface, but we kind of have like a mask. Maybe for now, this is okay. This is fine. Let's just export it into Blender. Switch to Blender. File, new, file, import GLB. It's gonna look like this in Blender. You still have some coloring. How come it's not green? I don't know. But let's switch to sculpt mode. And then mesh filter, and we can inflate it a little bit. We are in the sculpt mode in Blender, so we can just maybe remesh it. Use a small voxel size, so we get that. You can go smaller. Let's just inflate again using cloth filter. I want to keep some of the detail, otherwise we lost everything. Okay, at this stage you probably want to continue with the sculpt mode, and because this is like a mask, I'm thinking we can just use grab. Oh yeah, I forgot to do like a symmetry because it's already inside Blender. It's a flat surface, but we are trying to make something that looks more like a volume. So maybe the easiest creature we can think of, frog or like a fish shapes. Yeah, I think this guy have color. Yeah, I don't know why it's purple when I export it, but you know, it was green. Doesn't matter. Let's continue. Let's save this first. Fish feather, vertex paint. Use a sculpt mode and then just draw and paint. We got the radius. We still have symmetry. Yeah, still works. Now we can paint this guy properly. So we are, of course, just painting on the vertex. It's not really like a texture. You can use something like Uchup paint add-on to do proper painting. Yeah, probably it's some kind of fish mask, like a creature from Pixar probably. Yeah, it has some kind of gill. And this thing is of course 3D. You probably need to bake the texture and do that sort of thing. At this point, because we started with something that, you know, Feather 3D is for Doodler, I think. So some people are just more like a doodle. If you can do it in VR, like paint in 3D, but sometimes you need some kind of reference also, and you prefer to work in sort of like hybrid 2D environment, and you want to be able to. Oh, I'm trying to draw the nose here. You predominantly working with stroke for Doodler, stroke and shapes. So this workflow is kind of like if you're using grease pencil a lot, and yeah, this is kind of fun way to do 3D. And then from here you started to get like a volume idea of your character. And now we are doing sculpting, and sculpting is also kind of a nicer way. If you're using volumetric like SDF, and then you're doing booleans and trying to get the volume of your character, that's probably kind of more ideal workflow as well. So you want to be able to pull and push. So of course Feather 3D doesn't have this, but now since we are in Blender, push and pull, and you can always remesh your sculpt. Okay, sometimes you might get like a hole there, something like that you need to fix. But for concept, if you're just doodling your concept ideas of your character, this is a fun way to do it. You can use Nomad Sculpt as well on the iPad. I guess you can send a GLB to Nomad Sculpt and do this. Sculpt, draw. So grab is cool. Snake hook. Maybe just use grab. Reshape the mask. You can do like trying to do like a body, or yeah, make like a car and do like a lofting. Yeah, I guess sort of the idea what you can make simply by doodling this kind of frog face. I think I did a better frog face earlier. So I tried, I think, yeah, if you make like a character, slightly more tricky, but the lofting is still very useful. If you make like a car like this, it's much easier now because we have the lofting ability to loft. Yeah, so let's try that. So I start with a stroke. Yeah. Make a straight line like that at the center. Go to the side view. We can draw using this pen tool, something that looks like a car, like from the future. And I think it's a good idea to draw the center line as well. Maybe, I haven't tried this. Now we can delete that, make selection, select that using Apple Pencil, move it to the side, select this, get rid of selections, select this using pencil again, duplicate it, move it to the side. We can select and then duplicate it as a mirror. Yes, and then we just do the lofting. After you loft, now we have something that's more like 3D. You can then paint the center area. Again, looks like a Pixar car character. We don't really need the center lines, but you can keep that. Okay. You can delete that stroke. Continue to paint using different brush. This one. So every stroke will become a surface. So I can use random color. So we are basically working like using surface like if you're using app like plasticity is also like NURBS kind of base. So you work with surface, but also it has some kind of volumetric. To be honest, Blender Grease Pencil, Plasticity, and Feather 3D plus SDF workflow all together. However, if we are working like this, it's fine as well. So let's say I want to have some kind of volume based on this line over here. I should perhaps duplicate it, go to the front view, move it to the side. I can scale this, move it down there. This might work to create some kind of volume. I wish there's a way to just sculpt these lines. Yeah. Maybe I should just go to this, get rid of the reference, draw a surface that's curvy like that. And draw a shape. Draw a shape like that. And then try to loft that. Yeah. Cancel. Draw Maybe I should just draw lines, get rid of that, loft it between that and that and that. Done. Now I can continue. So this has more volume, and I can switch to different color. It's the window. At this point, it's very free-form style. It's like a bug. I forgot to draw the back, of course. Just draw surface like that, and then paint the back areas. So that's starting to look 3D. So in Blender, probably you can extrude that, add volume, but we get these shapes. That's a little bit, it's quite complex, right? Save this, export, GLTF, airdrop it. Switch back to the Mac, file, new, import, GLB off, I forgot. There, you get this. Control A, apply all transform, just mirror, apply, go to sculpt mode, same drill, mesh filter a little bit, and then remesh at 0.01, maybe remesh, that's gonna take a while, and cloth filter, inflate. That should be pretty fast. It's not bad, it's not bad. Shade smooth, take a look. Okay, save this as feather bug car. And we can further paint this. This is some kind of volume. This could be a hat. So if we go back to our fish, we get some kind of hat for this character. I don't know, maybe monkey head, Suzanne. We got ears. Combine them. There's some kind of ideas. Okay, we get some kind of AR glass. Yeah. So that's a quick look at the latest Feather app. I really like this app, and just it keeps getting better for each iteration. It's not, I mean, it's probably missing tools like grease pencil where we can just connect the dots between two strokes. That's something like this. Okay, we have, this is 4.2 beta. If we in grease pencil still, we have this really powerful ways to draw stroke anywhere, and then we can connect the dots based on the endpoints. So this is probably what I wish Feather 3D have. So draw stroke, connect the dots, because we in grease pencil you can just duplicate that. Grease pencil, what grease pencil doesn't have, a quick way to create reference between strokes. I mean, it could draw these lines that connect the dots, but in order to create surface between the two, we cannot just loft it, or we can do the fill, but we cannot just draw the lofting unless you convert it into mesh very quickly. That could work actually. So let's say this is a stroke, this is a stroke. If I select those two stroke, duplicate it, and then tap separate by selection. Not supported in object mode. Okay. You get the drill. Once you become mesh, you can just sort of loft it. Different workflow, but yeah, maybe that's kind of for the future ideas for feather. Anyhow, that's pretty much what I want to talk about. I think I forgot to display this, where we can just connect the dots between stroke in Blender. Draw random stroke, connect it. This could be useful. But anyhow, that's pretty much what I want to talk about. It's Feather 3D and Blender experiment once again. Hopefully you find this useful. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.